Hi, my name is Red Godfrey Segoe. I'm the Chief Exec of Sophie Hayes Foundation. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us as we share a project that started off as a series of mugs and has turned into a piece of artwork which will go to the International Slavery Museum. We are a charity founded by a British lady that was trafficked to Italy, and when she returned home, her belief was that survivors have to have the ability to be sustainably free. So we actually work in the employability and education space, and last year we were 10 and we decided that we would go to our wonderful partners at Liberty, and we actually asked if they would sell mugs for us, which they replied with, "We do fabric." And the result of this conversation 1 year later is that we have 3 regional quilts that have been created by women who have been bought and sold to the UK across our 3 regions, London and the South, West Midlands, Manchester and the North. A couple of things to share about the quilts themselves. None of the women that we work with had ever quilted before. The majority had actually said that they didn't know how to thread a needle, that they couldn't sew, and they were not creative. And I think what you'll find here is that that actually isn't the truth. They've actually created some amazing pieces of work. A couple of quick things to point out about Manchester and the North. Sophie's mother had never actually made any public statements about what had happened to her daughter, and we're beyond thrilled that her mother has actually provided a square for the Manchester and North panel quilt, and Sophie has got a couple of squares in her as well. The quilts themselves are not the Sophie Hayes quilt, they're a Freedom Quilt representing all survivors, and lots of little nuances and differences between them besides the colourways. In the Manchester and North one, lots of references to the Manchester Bee, some wonderful gay pride images, and then in the London one, interestingly enough, there's a lot more references to family and home. But as part of the exhibition, which is why we're at Festival of Quilts, we were invited to put the 3 quilts on display, but only 2 are on display. The Birmingham one has been held back because we felt Sophie's mother's story in the Manchester and North one was really important. But you will be able to get to see all 3 last weekend of September at Liberty in the store itself, and we'll all be there, so we're happy to answer questions. We may actually even have some of our survivors there that will talk about how they found the experience. And then after that, the quilts will go to the International Slavery Museum in Liverpool. And what's really lovely is for Festival of Quilts, Sophie's mom and Sophie have actually sent some messages, which is what's on the board behind me. So here out at the actual London quilt, a couple of questions that we've been asked, I realised hadn't shared before. Why is the London quilt bigger than the Manchester and North and the Midlands? And the answer is we actually support more women in London and the South than we do in the other regions. The North actually is about to grow for us because we started new programming outside of Manchester and Liverpool. A couple of quick things to re-mention on this. Liberty were already partners with us before we decided to do the quilt, and they have been phenomenal in just being patient and sending fabrics and instructions, and also the technical expertise that has come from Jenni Smith and Kay Walsh, so a shout out to them. And then we have a whole host of volunteers who happen to all be quilters that have been involved behind the scenes, and we have a long list of them. If I try and say one of them, I'm bound to forget somebody, so we'll just do a big shout out to all of the volunteer quilters. On the London quilt, I think there's a thing that I picked up personally was, as you can see, there are hands. All of the survivors did a hand each. And interestingly, my favourite hand is on the London one because somebody had actually stitched in nails, little pink nails, onto the end of the fingertips. But then on some of the other hands, they're very different. They've got words in the fingers, they've got words around the outside. And also on the London quilt, somebody has actually done the other side of their hand and they've actually put the ridges in. So that just shows you the uniqueness of how you give a group of people the same thing to do, and they all approach it very differently. And to close out, the other thing that I should share is we never thought that this would get picked up and become a big thing, and now we've actually got survivors saying, can we continue doing creative work as groups moving forward? And with our Survivor Network, which is CREW, Creative, Resilient, Empowered Women. It looks as though we're going to have a lifetime supply of Liberty fabric, and there will be other projects. Maybe not quilts, but I'm sure the creative world will see some more stuff from our survivors. So please do check out our website, www.sophiehayesfoundation.org. And if you would like to come in and see them, they're going to be at Liberty, and they'll be at the ISM, International Slavery Museum, in October. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us.